So I'm gonna punch you guys in the gut and ask, did we really need more Clone Wars? And that's the discussion here today. After the episode of Rebels kind of brought back Clone Wars, but at the same time ended it, gave closure on it. That's gonna be basically a topic people are gonna be thinking about is, man, I either want Clone Wars to come back, Rebels sucks, or, the opposite, Clone Wars didn't need to end. Clone Wars was getting into some deep shit when it ended. They introduced Bane, they had visions of Order 66 and the downfall of the Jedi. So much stuff. Force Ghosts. It was amazing seeing that. But now when they announced season 6, it was on Netflix. But it was originally going to be aired on TV. So the last couple episodes kind of put the Clone Wars pretty close to the events of episode 3. So what would have been the future for the Clone Wars TV series had they kept going? Definitely would have been like right up on episode 3, probably a little more Grievous, a little more Sidious would have been maybe even more of a main character, maybe the hunt for Sidious and stuff like that. I definitely did kind of want Bane to come up in some shape or form again. Maybe show his backstory, whatever. I'm sure we'll get another Bane thing though, whether it's through an anthology film, whether it's through, it probably is not going to be through something like Rebels, unless that's where they want to put him as a stepping stone like Thrawn. The Clone Wars were kind of running out of room, especially after the last season. But don't get me wrong, they definitely had amazing things. And I think that's where Rebels is not living up to the Clone Wars, is in the content. Clone Wars was dark. Clone Wars was exploring a lot of the expanded universe. Right now, there's not much of an expanded universe for Rebels to go off and explore. That is the downside to what happened with the new canon and everything. So, I mean, the little bit of stuff that they can explore, Rebels hasn't done that yet. So that's disappointed me with Rebels so far. The potential for Rebels is great. I mean, they can get into Rogue One. They can get into everything that has to do with the events between A New Hope. I was really hoping I would see a lot more Darth Vader in Star Wars Rebels, I'm going to be honest. Definitely was hoping for a lot more Darth Vader action and stuff like that. Not just one season where he's barely even in the show, just coordinating for the most part. That was disappointing for me. Rebels has the potential to be so great. And Clone Wars eventually lived up to that potential, though. You have to remember, at the beginning, Clone Wars was also not that great. Not that many people liked it. It was very kid-like. It didn't explore any of those thematic elements from the expanded universe, really. So you got to remember, Rebels is still in that sort of phase right now. They're only in season 3. Clone Wars season 3 was kind of just getting to their dark phase too. So I'm hoping Rebels progresses like that. So, I mean, honestly, if I'm going to vouch for a TV series and say which one I would prefer, I'm going to go with Rebels because of not what it's been, but the potential that it has to be something greater. Because Rebels can explore so many different things, and even within the new canon, there's a lot, because the new canon has focused a little bit on the events of the original trilogy, and I'm gonna go with Rebels for that fact. It has the potential to be great, especially if they can bring Darth Vader back or Sidious or something that people relate to a little bit more than all these new characters. Like Thrawn was a really good thing to bring back. See, that's what I mean by the potential, is like Thrawn. But we need more of that in Rebels. And I have a feeling as time goes on that we will get more of that. The Clone Wars was at its end. As amazing as it was exploring EU stuff, sadly it was really at its end. And they pretty much concluded it. We all knew like what was coming. We all knew they were so close. At that point, it would have been dragging it. They could have, yes, explored a lot more elements too from the Clone Wars and the Old Republic, which again, I would have liked too. But I mean, Rebels, I'm personally more interested in like I was hoping Rebels would have sort of an arc where Vader hunts down the remaining Jedi, stuff like that. And Rebels still has the potential to do stuff like that. So that's why I'm going to go with Rebels. Is it has a lot more that we have not seen yet to expand upon that it can go into. Whereas Clone Wars had a great run. If it was like Clone Wars in season 2, I would have said Clone Wars has a lot to expand upon. But they expanded upon so much already. And now it's time that we get to see all the expanded stuff from the events between episode 3 and 4. Because that's a big time period that is honestly probably a lot more important than the Clone Wars, just to be honest. I mean, that's when the Empire was getting set up. That's when Vader was learning. That's when Sidious was still kind of testing Vader and learning to basically keep the Empire under control. It's a great, great, great time period if you can hit the right notes. And that's all Rebels needs to do, is hit the right areas. And I'm sure that they might get there eventually. The only problem is these new characters kind of, even though we've grown to love them, they kind of get in the way because they're not going to be seen a lot with Darth Vader and Sidious, obviously. So that's my only thing with that. But I'm interested to look forward to what Rebels has, and I'm definitely going to just leave it at that. Rebels has a lot of potential. Clone Wars opened up a lot of doors. It opened up a lot of ideas, a lot of things, a lot of EU stuff. It opened everything up. It showed us a lot of backstory. And now that time is over, and it's time to show us some backstory of between 3 and 4. And hopefully that includes a lot of stuff like maybe the Death Star, more Imperial stuff, more than the Rebel stuff now. I think we need to get into some Imperial, how all the stuff with the Imperials was in Episode 4. I think they need to start getting into that with Rebels TV show. But Rebels is a great show. It's progressively getting better, and I think it'll keep progressively getting better, just like the Clone Wars did. And who knows? Maybe we will see Bane on there in some backflash story thing. Who knows? So, but what do you guys think? Just let me know in the comments, and remember to share and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.